Hey, don't forget to like and subscribe. Imagine this. It's day 365 of the US government shutdown. No Congress meetings, no NASA launches, no tax refunds. The Statue of Liberty now accepts Venmo donations just to keep her lights on. At first, it's chaos. Airports turn into reality shows, the TSA Hunger Games. People start trading Starbucks gift cards as unofficial currency. TikTok influencers livestream DIY passports tutorials. But as weeks turn into months, the nation adapts. Private companies take over everything. Amazon runs the postal service. SpaceX patrols the skies instead of the Air Force. Google announces a new feature, Google Laws, beta, since nobody's writing new ones anyway. The national parks? They turn wild again. Buffalo reclaim Yellowstone. Bears start reviewing campgrounds on Yelp. And since the EPA is gone, the Mississippi River trends on Twitter, now bright green and slightly radioactive. Then comes the real shift. States start acting like separate countries. California declares itself the Republic of Content. Texas rebrands as Texaco 2.0 with its own currency, brisket-backed dollars. New York? It just starts charging tourists rent. By month 9, America looks less like a country and more like a startup accelerator with national borders. Corporations write policies, influencers host elections, and AI moderators enforce the Constitution through terms of service. But when the year finally ends, no one's sure they even want the government back. Because maybe the real experiment wasn't about shutting down Washington. It was about finding out who actually runs America when the lights go out. Hey!
Yep. Shalom, shalom, giving honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash, double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone, we teach 100% truth. Shalom to the 144,000 and to the elect. This your brother Ra'aya, back with another video. And I stumbled across this video, y'all, where it basically says 365 days until the government shutdown, what will happen. And it's crazy because we already know that these things are going to happen because we've been prophesying that these things would happen. And then also Esau has been putting these, these clues of their plan into their movies. Like when it said that in the video where it says that states are going to become separate from the country. They're going to be basically their own country. And that's what's kind of happening now with the mayors and governors of these states have been going against the president.
Google announces a new feature.
So I can get that in second address. Let me see this picture. So this is second address 15 and 16, and it says, "For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their king nor princes," meaning they're not going to regard their presidents nor the governing factors over their states, right? So they're going to take the power in their own hands. And it says, "In the course of their actions shall stand in their power," because they're going to they're going to basically separate from the country and make their own country as far as their state. And it's going to be, that's going to be devastating because once you don't get any import or export to any of the states, because that's how typically the shipping of goods, the stocks and all of that, like to stock up your stores, that's how it goes. They go from one state to another state because they have different factories in different states. So if they start making their states how do you say, a sovereign state where it's not a part of the United States, that means that they're going to have regulations and restrictions to what's coming into the state and what's leaving out of it. And that can cause even more of a famine, because say if this state doesn't get along with the ideals of the next state that's over, that they typically before they did import and export with each other, where it's a factory in this state, so you would get, say if it's a Ritz cracker factory in Ohio, and then there's an automotive factory in Michigan, and they don't see eye to eye on their political views or whatever, or their policies or whatever, and they decide like, no, we're not going to do any business with them. Now Michigan will be without the products that Ohio make, and Ohio will be without the products that Michigan make, and it'll just be an ongoing thing, which is actually going to cause a big famine, a super famine, to where and then it'll make sense for the government to be at each border, stopping men from going into the next city. They'll wish they'll be able to go into the next city. And it says, 2nd Ezra 15 and 17, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. And this is the reason why they might not be able to go in there. This is one of the reasons why, because on top of, destruction and everything popping off there, martial law, also the states will be sovereign from the government as well. So it'll be like, who are you coming into that? You'll basically be like an enemy to the state if you're in another one, right? This is some crazy stuff that's going to pop off. People is not going to be ready for this. They're not going to be ready for this. And it says, because of their pride, verse 18, 2nd Ezra 15 and 18, for because of their pride, because the pride of the state, they're not going to listen to the government or any of that. They're going to take pride in their own ways of doing things, their own policies and all that. And they will turn against the next state while they're doing the same thing. They'll turn against them, and then it'll basically be like war against them, state against state. You know what I mean? City against city type stuff. And it says, for because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled. And these states are cities. They're just bigger. But either way, they're going to be troubled. There's going to be a lot of mass destruction popping off. So it says, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. And not only is this going to happen with your actual neighbors, it's going to happen with the actual neighboring states. Because once they run out of food and all of that, then they're going to try to come to yours and take yours. And that's how a civil war can ensue. But you all going to check this video out. It's called, What If the U.S. Government Shutdown Lasted a Year? And with that, I'm give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Shalom, y'all. On to the next one.